What's going on? What's happening? It is Friday at the time that I'm recording this. Wanted to basically wrap up my week by talking to everyone. I've been thinking a lot about conversations that I've had this week and the week before and weeks prior. And there's something that keeps coming up quite a bit. And I think it's something we need to talk about. I want to share some information with you. There's a lot of folks that I've talked to that, when we get to their conversations regarding their financial needs and what they're looking to do for their family, for insurance needs, for investment needs, for retirement needs, there's a lot of questions. We help a lot of people with their goals. However, there's a couple of things that keep popping up, man, like pretty consistently, and it's heavy. It's weighing heavy on me because it's like it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up, and I'm like, you know what? I've got to help people and share with folks some information to hopefully get you to move on a few things for yourself, which you'll see in a minute. Because there's some people that I've been meeting that are realizing that, man, I've been calling my pants down, with this situation over here. And I didn't even realize I had that. Or, man, I didn't know I had this option. I didn't even know this, that, all these different questions and thoughts and concerns and just bewilderment regarding some of these financial conversations. And so, what I'm going to share with you, I threw a little something together so we can kind of follow the track and not keep you too long on this the time that you're watching this. So let me share my screen. I'm going to jump in this real quick and show you a few things, and here it is. So I put this together, kind of guide our conversation real quick. Some thoughts I want to share with you. Here at AMG and Associates, we thrive and pride ourselves in helping individuals transform situational wealth into generational wealth. That is something that we take very seriously through different vehicles, through how we work with people, how we interact, how we take care, the attention to detail, the relationships we want to build with you. So we take this very, very seriously. And so within our systems called the Wealth 360 Advantage, we achieve the goal of transforming your situational wealth into generational wealth by positioning you. And the key word position, make sure you remember that word position or positioning, huge for the conversation we're about to have. Now, a couple of things we've discovered here. I do want to, walk you through this. These are the things. The next few slides are the things that's been burning on me. Okay, because as I've been helping people with index universal life policies, with different retirement conversations or investment conversations, I've discovered all these things we're going to talk about. All right, so first of all, I know if you are a living being and you're outside just a little bit, going to a grocery store, living some life. Have you seen or do you even know someone who had to go back to work in their golden years? I know that I've seen them, and I know that I know them. Some of them have some of my family, and I also know that I'm going to see some people probably today, or if not over the weekend when I go shopping. So no disrespect to those who have to do that. However, it is a reality that some seniors that I've talked to, they do not want to go back to work, but they have to. There are some seniors that go back to work because they want to. They want to stay busy. They want to, keep their body moving. It's a form of exercise and keeping the blood flowing, right? But there is an issue in our country that's not really being addressed, and a lot of folks are having to get not only side jobs if they do have a retirement still. They're having to do Ubers and Door Dashes and this and that and the other. I've seen down here in Florida so many elderly people delivering food and all kind of different things to make a living, not because they just want to stay busy, but and in the grocery stores, as you can see in these pictures here, there's individuals that have to work in other types of jobs as well. So, and this is a situation that some of my people who are close to retirement or either just entered into retirement, these conversations are popping up quite a bit. They don't want their retirement to run out. They're like, man, I don't want to be one of these individuals. God bless them, but that's not me. Okay. And so this conversation happens quite a bit. And even with my younger clients, it comes up because they start talking about planning for the future, planning for retirements and things like that. Even though it may be 20, 30 years away, they are still like, man, what do I need to do to prepare myself So here are some of the top complaints that we get. And it's usually in regards to retirement accounts, 401ks, 403bs if you're in the educational field or whatever, or maybe you have some form of an IRA or Roth or whatever, or self-directed, 401k, something like that, whatever. But if you have some sort of retirement vehicle, and maybe you were at an old job, right? And you're not there anymore. Or maybe you've had two, three, four other jobs, because people today don't stick with jobs like our folks did, like my parents' generation. They work somewhere 20, 30, 40 hot years, you know what I'm saying? I think my mother was like 32, 33 years. Aunt was like 33-ish years. People used to hang out at jobs and they have like one retirement plan, one 401k, and they're good, right? They're good. But nowadays, people job hop, right? It's this, this company, this company. So I'm finding a lot of people who are stacking up, retirement accounts. I've got some teachers who have worked in different states and sometimes even different counties where they have different retirement plans, and they have, 2 to 3 or 403b retirement plans. So a lot of the folks that I'm talking to, they have an old 401k or retirement plan sitting somewhere, and and they know they have it, but now that they've lost that in that job, or they've left from that job, it's just kind of sitting there. And the complaints that we hear are like, well, my 401k that I had in my old job, I still have it, but it's not growing. It's just sitting there. And I tried to access it. One day I had an emergency and I was like, oh yeah, my 401k. And I tried to access it, but then it was like a huge penalty. They told me if I was to like dig into it prior to 59 and a half. And so I was like, screw it, let me just leave it alone. And then I have others that say, man, I was looking to go on vacation. I thought I could pull some money out, have some access to it, but no, you don't. Or people have had emergencies. And I've had some individuals actually have an emergency and they decided to take some money out and got tore up on penalties and taxes. Okay, I've heard this several times. And there are other ways, I would say smarter ways even, to protect your money, mitigate the tax obligation, eliminate penalties. There's ways to do it, but this conversation isn't being had. A lot of people think, well, I've got a 401k and it's old or whatever. Man, I need that money. I'm gonna just take it out. I'll just deal with the taxes. I'll just deal with the penalty. Why do that? You're just throwing money down the toilet. So we hear that quite a bit. And then another one we hear is, I don't know what to do with this thing. I have no idea. I have 401k, I got your retirement account, and it's just sitting. Or, man, I forgot I had that thing. I had one client literally tell me last week, him and his wife were like, oh, yeah, that's right. We did have 401ks at the, I'm like, what? So, and they got thousands and thousands of dollars sitting over in these, 401k accounts. And they're like, I don't know what to do with it. They told me I can't touch till I'm 40, 59 and a half, and I'm 40 something. So kind of out of sight, out of mind, right? So I hear that quite a bit. I don't know what to do with that thing. I also hear, man, I feel like my money's in jail. If I need it or want it or this, that, and the other, or I can't, it's locked up to a 59 and a half, whatever. I hear that. I also hear, man, that's far away. 59 and a half, that's too far. It's like, I want access to it earlier than that. This is a racket. I hear all kind of complaints, right? So 401ks are good for certain situations, certain people, certain circumstances. It's a great benefit for employers to provide to their employees. So again, this is not a conversation about 401ks are terrible. They're not. No, they're not. Okay, and there's different ways to leverage them. However, for those who have 401ks or retirement accounts from old employers, or if you're already retired and you're tapping into your 401k, this conversation is for you. If you're at a job currently and you're contributing to your 401k and they're contributing to it, all that kind of at your current job, this conversation is not for you yet. Okay. Yet. However, if you had a job or two or three or four and you've had 401ks elsewhere, this conversation is for you. And like I said, if you're in retirement, it's for you as well. Now, so many people are saying, man, I've got all these accounts over here, or, oh yeah, I forgot I had it. My question to them is, how would you feel if we could find that account, identify it, that's dead money, dead 401k. It's just kind of floating out here in the ocean and called the market. It's just kind of floating. You don't look at it. You ain't been looking at it. Don't have any plans to look at it. It's just kind of out there, not really doing anything, going up and down, right? And I propose, what if we were to take this and Frankenstein it and make it come to life? We put it in fertile ground. We take it from here and we move it. We change the position. We position it from here to here. So out there just floating in the water to over here to solid, fertile ground to where now it actually matters. It's growing. Excuse me. It's growing. It's safe. It's reliable. You will have an income, being able to draw an income for the rest of your life and your golden years. It will be protected. It will be predictable. All those kind of things. Versus over here, just kind of floating in the water and like versus something you just like, yeah, I had that. Yeah, I kind of forgot about it. Oh yeah, like all that going to, yep, I have it. It's right there. I know exactly what it is. I see what it's doing. I'm so happy I got it. And I can't wait to tap into it when I'm 65 or 62, 75, 59, whatever age we set it up for, all that kind of stuff and all the other benefits. So what if we can move it from here to here? Well, what is that fertile ground? What is that? That fertile ground is a tool that a lot of people don't know about, especially in certain communities, if I can keep it 100, don't know about it, should know about it, but do not, okay? So I do want to talk about the volatility because you realize that, we're gambling our retirement resources in certain types of vehicles that are in the market. If you're saying, hey, you know what, I'm gonna retire off my stock portfolio. Okay, well, you gambling, that's professional gambling. Or because of gains, right? Because of losses and the volatility and all that. 401k is in the market. 403b is in the market. The IRA is in the market. The Roth is in the market. Great tools, great vehicles for certain purposes. But let me ask you this. Do you want to gamble with your retirement resources? I do not want to do that. I don't. I'm not trying to hope, wish, praying, crossing fingers and toes, hoping and wishing that the market performs well enough to where my retirement account benefits and is enhanced to where I could possibly live a phenomenal retirement life. In my golden years, I'm living my best life. Hopefully, that's stressful, right? Completely stressful. Don't want to do that. So my encouragement is listen to this video and understand a little bit, and we got some more after this.
I sold my last company for $1 billion. I know how to make money. Even I don't consider myself a good investor. Investing is a whole different thing. It's gambling. Yeah. It is understanding where things are going to go in a wildly complicated market, not having any control on it, but being able to bet on whether what's going to work out. You can bet with the system, you can bet against the system, you can pick pockets of it to bet against for. It's crazy, but it is literally a casino. Yes. Now, once you understand that when people come to you and they say, hey, you should invest in your 401k, what they're saying is put your gambling money in the 401k, we will gamble it for you in the most sensible sort of low. We will have our professional gamblers gamble for you. Correct.
All right. So in watching that, hopefully that resonated because that is the absolute truth. If you've got 401ks, you've got all these different vehicles that are in the market, you just even stock portfolios, and you're saying, you know what? Yeah, I can make some gains. It depends on what I choose and all those kind of things, strategies, all that. Yes. However, it is gambling. Let's call it what it is, because just call it what it is. There's nothing fixed about it. Okay. The fixed part about it, if there's anything, is that it's a fixed maybe. Like I may be lucky and I may not be. Who knows? But we'll see. So in order to change our mindset and think like, okay, well, why is it that a lot of these people are working in their golden years? Well, stats show that 401ks and retirement accounts for like 401ks that are in the market aren't lasting much longer than 11 years. So if you retire at 65, that means at 76, you are going back to work, period, the end, unless you have some other resources, okay? And we've seen this all too often. I actually met a gentleman, he was in the grocery store at Publix, and he was leaving, he had just left work, he worked at Chick-fil-A, this gentleman was 81 years old, and we were chatting. I just struck up a conversation because I said, man, good for you, man. Y'all, moving around, working, seeing people, staying social, all that fun stuff, sir. We were in the same line. He said, yeah, it's fun. Give me some life and all that kind of stuff. I have a lot of family here, but I definitely enjoy it. But the big reason I had to go back to work, retirement just not cutting the mustard these days, my friend. I said, oh, sorry to hear that. So we kept it moving. I didn't want to dwell on it, but you get my point. Okay. And what what this gentleman in this video is talking about is our retirement accounts, most likely what this gentleman had from Chick-fil-A, most likely had it in the market where it's up and down, where you have professional gamblers gambling with your money. When you have a 401k, a lot of times these are in mutual funds and these are in different types of stock portfolios. And guess what? There are professional people, stockbrokers, gamblers, if you want to call them that are trying to make good on your money, and you're hoping they win and flip your money for profit, right? So you can sustain and live through your 401k for years to come. However, if you have a huge drop in the market, like in 2008, housing market crash, where the market went down 39.6% below zero, okay? Well, guess what? That's 40%. Your nest egg in your 401k just went down by 40%. You got $1 million in there overnight, you just lost 400 grand. Like just like that. That is stressful. Okay. So what we want to do is put our attention and focus in our minds on reprogramming ourselves to utilize a different kind of tool that's been around for a long time. So when I hear I've got dead 401ks, I've got this, I've got that, or I don't know what it is, I don't even look at it anymore. I know I got money in it, but how do I even get all that stuff? I'm saying, okay, good. Will you give us here at AMG permission to grab it, move it, and put it in fertile ground so it can do what you intended for it to do when you first signed up for it? But predictable, protected, growth, all these phenomenal things. Well, what in the world am I talking about? Because people are like, well, I need options. Do I have any options? Yes, you do. Okay. And I'm going to show you how we help all these people that we talk to with all these concerns. The concept is not new. It's called an annuity contract that's with a life insurance carrier. So it's not a life insurance policy. It's an annuity contract that's written and underwritten by a life insurance carrier. Okay. Now you see this familiar face right here. This is a little video I want to share with you because this gentleman understands it. But annuities have been around literally since before the United States was actually the United States. Okay. So 1759, when annuities were created, it is an annuity contract. Is the safest retirement vehicle by far, has been and still is. It is a contract. When you fund it, it will guarantee that you will have income for life. Okay. So there's a lot of benefits. I'll go through that in a minute. Check out what Shaq has to say.
I used to see this rich guy, really older, 80, old Rolls Royce, and I asked him, I said, how? And he taught me a word I never heard. He goes, Shaq, you need to invest in an annuity. And I never knew what it was. And I looked it up because I was making so much money from commercials and all, I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, yeah, all this money you're making, if you put it away, you can invest it and you can start collecting at 50, 60, and 70. So that was my greatest investment.
So, all right. Shaq's greatest investment was annuity contracts. Okay. Here's what's interesting. I've heard people say to me, well, what is this? Is this new? Yeah, well, I don't know. I ain't heard of that. Oh, okay. Well, I've been kind of slammed for saying this, but I'm going to say it again. Just because it's new to you doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because it's new to you doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's new. It means that you haven't known about it, but it's been around for well over 200 years, and it's going to be around for probably longer than that, because the annuity contracts are a staple in certain economic groups and even, should I say, subsectors of America. It is a very popular vehicle in certain communities, extremely popular, but in others, not so much. Okay. So what we want to do is learn about annuity contracts and how can I take my old 401k or my 401k that I'm drawing from right now in retirement and maybe position it to where it's a little bit safer. Well, what does that safe word mean? Why did this guy driving a Rolls Royce tell Shaq, man, you need to put your money in an annuity? He didn't say put it in the stock market. He didn't say go buy real estate. He didn't say go buy commercial buildings. He didn't say any of that. He didn't say get a piggy bank, put it in the shoebox, put it in the bank. He said put it into an annuity. Okay, well, why is that? Here are the top benefits of annuities. The top benefits of annuities. Number one, you can customize them for your retirement needs. If you need income immediately, if you need or want income later, you can set it up for whenever you want to start taking distributions. It is extremely flexible. The other part, which is massive, complete flip-flop from a 401k, 403b, and other vehicles like that, is that there's only upside growth. Your principal that you put in will never decrease. However, you start taking withdrawals, it does this kind of thing, but it never goes down, okay, with the market, all right? You'll never, for instance, if you put $100,000 in, $1 million, let's say $1 million in, and you haven't touched it because you're waiting on it to, your retirement year, whatever that you've chosen. When you get to that retirement age and you're like, oh, it was a bad stock market year. Well, guess what your account's going to say? $1 million plus, whatever the credit has been, but it will never be below that. All right. So it's not in the market. There's no gambling. So there's stop loss strategy. So meaning that there's a floor. So let's say that the market does great. It does say 6-7% that year. Okay. Guess what? Your indexes you have chosen, you get credit 6, 7, 8%, whatever the index we selected for you. You get that performance on top of the money that you put in. But the next year, the market goes belly up. Well, because annuities are not in the market, they're able to disconnect and stop at 0 or maybe sometimes even higher, depending on the annuity contract, 0.25 or whatever. Now the market is all down here clowning. It's doing -5, 10, -13, housing market, -39.6%. It's clowning down here. But then when it comes back up, that's when the annuity index that you've chosen will recalibrate and participate in all the gains. So you're only participating in positive movement. None of the negative movement, nothing. Unlike the old things that's floating out here in the ocean, right? The 401k, 403, other products, they just kind of floating and going up, down, all that kind of stuff. Over here, it's just this. Steady incline. Let me start over here. Steady incline, right? Steady incline, all right? Predictable income stream and guaranteed income for life. Now, if I don't know if that doesn't tickle your fancy, I don't know what does. If that doesn't get you one to put your shouting shoes on and run around the house, to know that you have guaranteed income when you retire. What else is there to talk about? For real. Okay. How many retirees, man, especially down here in Florida, would love to know that they've got guaranteed income the rest of their life? It's predictable. It's not, well, let's see how the market does next year and how much I've got left in it after taking my distribution. No. Okay. Another thing about annuities is that they're way more liquid than these other, vehicles. Your current ones, the 401ks, all that, right? So for instance, if you need some liquidity out of it, it's like, oh man, had something pop up, I need to draw something. Now, depending on the type of contract, type of product, annuity carrier and all that stuff, annuity product, excuse me, there's a certain level of liquidity. Some there's a lot, some there's a little, some there's not any until a certain time frame, but there's strategies for that and reasons why people do that. It all depends. But for the most part, even if it was a long-term one, you could still get it. All right. It might be a little penalty, but you can still get it. But for the most part, there's some liquidity built in, early liquidity before you start taking retirement distributions. Okay. There's some flexibility there. Bonus money available. Now, this is fantastic. Anywhere between probably an 8%, and probably, I know for sure, an 8% up to a 45% bonus. I have one particular client that put in a little over $1 million into an annuity contract, but let's back up. So let's say just $1 million flat. Because of the $1 million flat, moving the 401k, rolling it over, tax-free, penalty-free, rolling it over into an annuity contract, right? This particular product pays a 45% bonus of what you fund. So this gentleman ended up receiving an additional $450,000 in his annuity retirement contract. So the $1 million plus 450, 1.45, all because he gave me permission with a signature to move it from here to here. All I did was this, 450,000. Now, if you think about your own account and you're like, wait a second, well, I've got 500,000, I've got 200,000, I got 100,000, I got 50,000, I got 25,000, whatever you have, 45%, 20%. There's another one that we love for a lot of different reasons. 20% bonus. We just helped 3 different families in the past 7 days with this particular one. They put in their funding, meaning they actually didn't put it in. Here's the beautiful part about the rollover. You don't put in anything. You literally just give us your John Hancock. What? Okay, Mondo, you and your team can move it from here to here. Imagine paying me as a moving company to move your house. I move your house, and all of a sudden, when I leave, you got a bonus room that you didn't have. I just moved it. I moved your stuff, and all of a sudden, a new 5th room popped up, bathroom and everything. Like, what? Wouldn't that be cool? Just because I moved it. We moved from here to here. 450,000 for the one client. 20% bonus on these 3 families we helped last week of their money. That's like, dude. And guess what? They didn't have to pay me. They didn't have to pay the care. They didn't have to pay anything. All we did was take that dead money, give it some CPR, right? Breathe it into life, put it over here, plant in some soil with the permission of the client, and we sit back and watch it grow. How many of you have a 401k, 403 retirement account that's just out there in a canoe or kayak in the middle of the water floating around? Maybe you forgot about it from a couple old employers. That's your hard-earned money, man. Like, what are we doing? Grab that bad boy and throw it over here. Okay? I highly encourage you to do that. That is your money. And then you can put it in fertile ground and watch it grow. The other part about annuity contracts is that with the way you structure it, there's tax benefits if you structure it with certain strategies and certain ways to minimize your tax obligation, which is a wonderful thing. Okay. And I don't get deep in the weeds on that. We've got some individuals hardly paying any taxes on their annuities. We got a couple because of some strategies in conjunction with this product as well as the other ones. They don't pay any. So there's some strategies on that. There's also no mandatory withdrawal. So in a lot of these other accounts, there's what's called a RMD, required minimum distribution. Okay. Without going down that rabbit hole, these other types of products, they require you to take money out so that way Uncle Sam can tax you, because those are tax deferred vehicles. They're saying, yeah, you can grow it tax free. You can grow it tax free. So we're going to let you plant all these seeds for 20, 30, 40 years. And as soon as you take that harvest, gotcha. Here we come. We're going to get you. Okay. So tax is going to be higher or lower when you're older. Higher. And they know that. So we're going to help you defer your taxes all these years. And then when it's time to take it out 401k, boom, there you go. All right. Here comes Uncle Sam. Now, the last part was really cool about this is that there's a death benefit to your family with the money that's left over. Or you can say the money's left over, you can give it to your beneficiary in a lump sum, or you can set it up to where it will be paychecks and income for the surviving loved one, right? So the annuity just keeps rolling. It starts paying it out in pieces, right? And there's ways to structure that. So these are the basic bullets of what answers a lot of the people's questions and concerns and things that I get from that other slide I showed you. These are the things that people complain about all the time. And we started introducing some individuals to annuities. I was like, man, there's more and more people, because I'm like, I keep hearing, man, I got all this money wrapped up over here, or I had it and I needed money, so I just took it out and got hit with the penalty. Like all these, I get it, but you don't know what you don't know. But I will be remiss if I'm going to sit here and I listen to all my wonderful clients and wonderful people I get to meet and have the pleasure of helping, and I hear all this and I don't share it publicly. I have to do that because there's some hardworking people that are not putting themselves in the right position because of lack of information and knowledge. And if we have it here at AMG to share it with you, then it is our duty to make sure you know what you have access to. So simply put, if you got a old 401k or whatever, you need to talk to Mondo and his team. This is who we are. Okay. You've got myself and all the rest of our staff, advisors, and strategists. And then we have our back office team right here at Advisors Excel. These are our tax compliance people, our suitability people. These are our new business people. These are our policy services, contract services. This is our marketing team. This is everything. We have estate planning, all these different things, wealth management, tax strategy. So all this within our team here at AMG, you have access to make sure we go find that money that you've either been ignoring, or you knew it was over there, but you just didn't know really what to do with it. We will help you reposition. Boom, put it in fertile ground. It goes from not mattering much, or I don't know if it matters, to mattering a ton. to making a difference for you and your family in your retirement years, making good on the time and effort and energy and the resources you put into this vehicle when you were working at that new job and you were excited about it. Now that you're not there, it's like, whatever, I'm moving on. No, don't leave that though. Don't leave that. Bring it over here, okay? And we will be happy as a team to help you achieve that goal, okay? So real quick, sorry, maybe it's a long video, I don't know, but I felt like I needed to share this with you all, how we help you, position yourselves for retirement, okay? So again, thank you for the few minutes that you spend listening to me ramble about this. Again, kind of informal. I may do this more. It's just on my heart. I wanted to share it and help everyone understand what we're able to do with these retirement accounts, just kind of sitting around doing absolutely nothing. Okay. And make it matter and do something. All right. So let's do that, man. I appreciate you guys. Love you. Have a phenomenal weekend. If you're watching this on Friday, if you're watching it, whatever day of the week, doesn't matter. Have a great day, great evening. Love you all. Appreciate you. And there'll be more of this. All right. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Later.